This recipe was given to me by a friend of my mum's called Jean. So I'm going to show you how to make this cake. In here I have 300 grams of mixed fruit plus 50 grams of dried cranberries. I like to use the cranberries because it gives it a little bit of something else. You could use blueberries, or if you wanted it a bit more exotic, possibly some pineapple, you know, Caribbean flavour. Right, 115 grams of either butter or marge. Mine is kind of halfway between the two because it's soft marge. So that goes in next. And then we have 250 millilitres of boiling water, and that goes in there. Now, we don't like particularly sweet stuff, so I haven't put any sugar in this recipe, but you could, that would be perfectly all right. We're going to bring this up to the boil, which won't take very long. The object of this is to swell the fruit, as well as amalgamate the fat in with it, or butter if you like. So what we will do is just start breaking the butter up a bit, because that way it melts faster. And this actually smells very nice when you're preparing it. Let's keep stirring it. Not that it's likely to burn or anything, because there's too much water in it, but it does take a few minutes. Then when that comes up to the boil, we're just going to basically turn it off again, and then we're going to walk away and leave it to cool, because we're going to have eggs in here next. And if you put eggs into hot mixture, the eggs get cooked, so it's better to put it into a cold mixture so you can amalgamate it all along with the flour, spices, etc. Yeah, you can see some steam coming up there now. This won't take very long. See, the butter's almost melted now. And yeah, quite nice smells coming off there. And by the time we come back to this, the fruit will be all nicely swollen. And yeah, oh, here we are, just coming up to the boil. And plump. Some people use tea. I've used tea in the past instead of the water. Just gives it another flavour, really. Whichever you prefer, it doesn't matter at all. Right, that's now boiling, so that goes off, and we're just going to leave it. Every time you come back into the kitchen, just give it a bit of a stir, but just leave it to cool down now. About half an hour. You could go away and come back in the evening, it wouldn't really matter, but it's got to cool down. Right, here we are back in the kitchen. This is more or less cooled down now, so this is our mixture. If you like to look at it, cameraman will come in. See how this is all plumped up beautifully. It's absorbed all that water, well, not all of the water, but quite a bit of it. Right, so our next ingredient to go in is 2 eggs beaten. You don't have to beat the eggs, but I always do. These eggs are really nice. They come from about 17 miles away from here. I like to use local produce. They're free range. I haven't actually seen the chickens running around, but I'm sure I could if I wanted to. So we've got 2 eggs. This is 250 grams of self-raising flour. Now, you could, if you wanted to, sieve this, but I think it's all right to just pop it in just like that. And added to that, we're going to put in a teaspoonful of mixed spice. If we'd had sugar in this recipe, then it would have been 150 grams of caster sugar, or I like to use muscovado because I think it just gives it that little bit extra. So we just stir all this into the mixture. It will be a bit sticky, but that's okay. The beauty of this, of course, is we're still using the same dish or saucepan, so it really is a quick way of making a cake. That's nearly all incorporated now. Yeah, that's looking good. Right, so we're going to put it in. This is a 22 centimetre loaf tin, which I've greased well, and I like to flour as well. You don't have to. Some people just use grease, but no, I like to flour. Perhaps I'm a bit old-fashioned, I don't know. Anyway, and this is slightly awkward because I'm right-handed, so I can lift with that one. So our mixture just goes into the tin. Scrape some more of this off. This is about the consistency it should be, just about dropping. Just flatten it out a bit. And we're going to put this into hot oven, 175 centigrade, for about an hour. What I would normally do is I'd leave it for an hour and then I'll test it. If it needs a bit longer, then we'll give it a bit longer. But that's a rough guide. But definitely an hour at least. So okay, we're going to take this over to the oven now. Still a bit warm. And pop it in. And then we'll come back again in an hour's time and have a look. Right, well, back in the kitchen again, an hour is gone. I'm going to have a look at this cake and see how it's doing. So, ooh, looking good. It's certainly been smelling very nice. I won't turn the oven off just yet, just in case it needs a bit longer, but it's looking pretty good. I've got a thin knife here. The thing with fruit cakes is because there's so much fruit in them, you can't always tell. But that knife, I don't know if you can see that, has come out clean. So that means it's cooked. So the other test I always like to use as well is I actually listen to it, which I know sounds a bit daft, but if you tap it like that, it sounds hollow. That's a cooked cake. You do the same with bread. So we're going to leave it on the wire rack just to cool down. I'll put it on a rack because then the air can circulate underneath as well. And then we're going to turn it out later when it's cooled down a bit, onto the rack and then onto a plate, and we'll have a look at it. Might even make a cup of tea. Okay, so we'll be back again in a few minutes. Okay, we're going to cut this now, see what it's like. I'm using a bread knife. I'll cut straight down through the middle. Still a bit warm, I'd have to say. That's typical. There we are. Whoa, look at that. That's wonderful. And it's filled the house with a lovely cake smell. And that's absolutely perfect. So I hope you're going to try this at home. What we'll do is print the recipe on the video at the end. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's dead easy, believe you me. So until next time, bye.